Is it on? Perfect.
All right, we are now joined by winner of tonight's Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500, Tyler Reddick, driver of the number 8 Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet. Tyler, this is your third win this season, first win at Texas in the Cup Series. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. It was a chaotic night for us from what felt like the very get-go. We had so many just things not go right. It was I don't even know where to start. We had a lot of things not go our way, and at least 2 or 3 times I thought we were going to be crashing into the outside wall in turn 1, whether it was because the door foam came off, got in my steering wheel, or me and Brad got into each other and I got loose into one. There was a lot of things that just didn't really seem like they were going our way. Loose wheel, but it didn't seem to hold us down. I mean, our car was really strong, and we got some breaks along the way too, and I knew we had a strong car, but I didn't know how our night was going to finish after all the things that went wrong. So just great that we were able to put ourselves in that position, take 2 tires, and have a car strong enough to be able to hold on to the lead like that.
All right, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We will go ahead and start right back there.
Justin Schuler kicking the tires. Tyler, first off, congrats. I know you kind of wanted this one probably a week ago, but let's talk about the tires, because I mean, this is race 30 of the year, and I think we've had 3 in this entire season where we haven't had tire issues. What is it like as a driver to like have that uncertainty of not knowing when the tire is going to go, or if it's going to stay, or how?
Well, I mean, you have some sort of an idea. At the end of practice, we were one of a few that had some issues with the right front tire. So we knew we had some work to do, and there were some things we needed to change, maybe go up on some air pressure, that sort of thing. So it wasn't like an unknown, but certainly with the way the practice is set up, you take a chance of not running enough laps if you're working on your car a lot to really get a read on if you're too low on air pressure or too aggressive on one thing or another. But in our case, we ran enough laps and we were able to see that we had been too aggressive on our right front tire, so we made some adjustments going into the race, thankfully. But, yeah, it is tough to not really know. I mean, sometimes you have a warning. I feel like at Kansas I did, at Charlotte I did, Fontana a little bit, but it's very subtle. I mean, you get a little bit looser, the car starts to have a slight vibration, but a lot of times the vibrations I had tonight were very, very, very intense, and if it was going to blow, it wouldn't have, but it didn't.
How would you describe that for you?
For me personally?
Well, for you being not in the playoffs anymore compared to some of the others who are in the playoffs, because, Blaney said he's concerned. Quite a few of the others. For you, you're not. Are you just is it fun?
No, I mean, I'm concerned because I want to, if we blow a tire, we don't have a chance to win the race. That's basically what happened in Kansas. It happened really early, and we didn't get any stage points, nothing. So, it's something we're always going to be aware of. I mean, we got to, there's performance, and then there's a point where you got to be smart and try and keep it inside the, a realistic area. And, unfortunately for us, a few times this year, we've had really fast cars, but we've been just pushing certain things a little bit too far, and unfortunately we've had issues because of it.
All right, we'll go up to Jeff.
Were you having?
Oh my gosh, are you all right?
All day.
You sick?
Were you having? No, I'm not sick. It just vanished during the race.
You were that excited, screaming and yelling.
Were you having flashbacks to Kansas?
Oh yeah.
You said after Kansas, you're like, I don't want fast cars anymore.
I mean, I would love fast cars, but yes. But every time it seems like we did have fast cars, something just something would go wrong. So yeah, I was a little worried coming into today about that. But thankfully we were able to cut those tires apart after practice. And Goodyear was like, hey, we got a problem here. You need to be aware of this. So we knew that we needed to, be a little bit smarter going into the race, make some adjustments. But yeah, I love fast cars for sure. I definitely kind of got twisted to where it's like, we make the car slower and you won't have tire failures. But seriously, every time we've had a car that was off. We're not making the most grip out of the tires, so we're not pushing the limits of what the tires can handle. So yeah, I definitely want to still have fast cars, but certainly it is a bit crazy. You have that short practice and you're going off of wheel force data and all these things to try and get the setup as close as you can. You want to have speed, so you're going to push the issue in some areas, and it's just hard to know where that line is until, unfortunately, something goes wrong or not.
Go right up there.
Hi, Michelle Aaron from Cronkite News. I came out here from Phoenix. Keeping with the theme of the cars, we did see a lot of accidents tonight, like an unprecedented number of things that happened. Do you think there's still a lot of room to improve on these Gen 7 race cars?
I mean, there's things that will continue to change, I think, as we learn more about this car. It's just in the year or, months that we've ran in this season from start to now, we learned so much about this car that we didn't necessarily know was going to be a factor, or, it's gone directions I think some of us didn't really predict. So I think we'll continue to make improvements, and everyone will do everything they can to try and help the reliability and the durability of the tires. Certainly, as the teams learn more about this car, we're going to be finding ways to push this car through the corners harder than some of the wheel force cars will be able to do in the corners. And so I think just as the teams continue to go down that path of maximizing this car further and further, we just keep making more grip, and the tires have more and more stress because of it. So I think it's just kind of a product of that rapid ramp up and learning about this car that this kind of happened this year.
We'll go right up here.
Rob Tiongson from the Podium. Excuse me. Rob Tiongson from the PodiumFinish.net. Tyler, congratulations on win number 3 for the season. It's your first on an oval. 2 questions for you. I mean, it was a wild race for sure, but how satisfying is this victory considering how frantic this was? And on a lighter note for my second question, how excited are you to finally get some chicken tenders for fans out there? And maybe for me too.
Yeah. No, anytime that we can get that done, it's a big deal. Going to a Cheddar's on a Monday night, it's going to be popping, that's for sure. There's going to be a lot of free chicken tenders, and hopefully everyone's chowing down. But yeah, to get it done to ovals, it is important. I didn't know where it was going to come, but for it to be here is kind of a nice surprise. And based off, again, how our day started, I didn't really know what our result was going to be today. Again, we had a really strong car, but just things weren't going our way. But we were able to bounce back at the right times, and strategy kind of fell the way that it did. And again, our car was strong, so we were able to kind of mix it up. And it just turned out we had the right strategy, and we were able to be at the front when it mattered, and we were able to get to the lead and then hold on from there.
We'll go here to the left.
Mark Yarrow, PRN, congratulations. Great win. What was your feeling coming across the start-finish line, heading out of turn 4? You can kind of coast in. It was this massive relief. I mean, again, we had a very frantic race. It was almost, the kiss of bad luck immediately if you were leading the thing. So just what were you feeling taking the checkered flag after surviving all this?
It was a huge sense of relief for sure. Yeah, just the last, 10 laps, I would say. I'm looking behind me, and Joey would kind of pop off a good lap, and, I'd have to push a little bit harder. It's really nice when you're in that spot where you have a car that's that good to where you can just kind of drive it at 80% and not, overstep your marks, overstep the line, because that kind of made me feel better about, okay, I got this vibration, but I can run the car 80% through 3 and 4 and not really lose much ground to Joey. So to finally cross the line and know that we finished the race, and that vibration wasn't really anything at all as it seemed, was a huge sense of relief for us, because every time, like I said, it just seems like every time we've been fast, we've had something go wrong. We've had a failure, a tire go down, and after a while it's definitely frustrating. So I was definitely concerned, but we made it.
And my follow-up question is this. When I see how hard this team fights for you and all you guys accomplished this year, any regrets about your decision to move on or move away from this team, given just how good you guys are together?
No. you know, it's my decision to stay and go at the end of the day, it wasn't really, oops, the lid was popped off that thing. Another thing that went wrong tonight, but hey, we won. So, no regrets. I mean, it unfortunately, the decision that was made and my choice to move on had nothing really to do with my team. It was just circumstances with, you know, myself and RCR, and, you know, I love my team. I've never been as close as I am with this group as I have been with anyone else. And, you know, it's a type of bond and a group and the friendship that we have that will outlive our tenure together as a driver and as a team. You know, we're already joking around about, you know, in years down the road when I'm running somewhere else, we'll probably still be doing the same things we're doing now. We'll probably still be spending time together, hanging out, doing that sort of thing. That's just who we are. So, yeah, we're making the most of this for sure. You know, it is unfortunate that, you know, things do have to come to an end. And as it turned out, you know, it's coming to a close a little bit sooner than we all initially thought when I made my announcements. But it's the direction that RCR needs to take for their long-term goals, and I understand that. But they're a great team, and they're going to have a lot of fun. And you know, they're getting a really good driver. You know, they're getting a really, really good driver. You know, after me, so you know they're going to continue to have that success and have that strong drive behind the driver's seat. So you know, I didn't know if we were going to stay together our whole lives or how it was going to go. But if for whatever reason, you know, as it's turned out that I would be going the other way, I wanted nothing more than for them to have like the next best driver that there is in the field. And for them to get Kyle Busch, for me, is if I'm going one way and I can't be with them any longer, if I could go through the list and pick a driver, that's the guy. So for my team and those guys I care about a lot, I'm really glad they're going to have him.
All right, we'll go back there and then up to Dustin.
Steven Stump of FrontStretch.com. It was said before, but Harvick, Elliott, Truex were among the drivers to crash out of the lead. Tires have been a concern. Obviously, you said you were kind of also focused on racing Logano, but in the last green flag run, just how much in your mind were you thinking, oh, please don't go flat, please don't go flat?
Probably about, I'm not going to lie, probably about 50% of my brain was thinking about that, and the other 50 was just on running clean laps. Again, that's just because we've had a lot of those issues this year. Fontana, we were leading in the Lenovo car of all things, and blew a tire. Unfortunately, got ran over by William, and our day ended. Charlotte, another really strong car. We're running second behind Ross and had a failure. But we were able to rebound from Charlotte. But there's just been a lot of races this year that's been that way. So because of that, yeah, it's in the back of my mind. But again, it's, you know, everyone knows it coming into this. You know, you gotta push some limits. And unfortunately, just with this new tire and with this new car, it's a little bit more sensitive to it. So you just have to be on top of it a little bit better. Be really paying attention to the tires after practice, and be ready to make some adjustments going into the race so you don't have those issues.
Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Tyler, I wanted to ask you about the Byron Hamlin incident, and I think you were, if I'm not mistaken, you were only a few cars or a couple cars behind. What did you see from your perspective, first of all, please?
Well, I'm not going to lie, Dustin. I don't really know what happened. I just know that I think it was Truex had the flat, and then I see Denny going through the grass. So I don't really know what happened. So I mean, if you do and you want to fill me in, that'd be good, because I mean, I could see they were going at each other, but I don't know if like William intentionally did it or not. I don't know those details.
Yeah, Byron said that Hamlin forced him up, and two, he hit the wall, and then he went to hit him under caution and said he hit him too hard. I'm curious from a competitor's point of view, and there's video that shows the contact happened after the caution lights were illuminated. Hamlin did not get his position back. Is that a concern, or what type of question would you have as a competitor if you were put in that situation? Because obviously Hamlin and Gabehart felt like they should have been put back in there because they had no control of not, maintaining speed because they got knocked out of the way.
Yeah. Well, the one time I've hit someone under caution, I got parked, and William didn't get parked, so it is different. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. It was under caution. He got ran over. What can you really do? It's one of those deals where I feel bad for Denny and the team, but rules are rules. He didn't maintain speed, so there's just arguments all over the board. I don't know if we can really allow guys to run over other guys under caution and be able to maintain their spot. In Williams' situation, if he did run him over, whether it was on accident or on purpose, I feel like there should be some sort of penalty for him on that side, because he's completely screwed someone's race up, whether it was on purpose or not. So I feel like there should be something done there. I'm sure they'll make some sort of a decision, or I'm sure it'll be something they'll address this week in updates and on NASCAR side. So I'll be curious to see what that is. But certainly we can't really have this where you dump someone under caution, they go to the back, and you don't. I mean, that could be potentially a really interesting situation in the future.
Another thing I wanted to ask you is, you've referenced the issue's been about the tire issues throughout this year. And obviously, I know you talk about it's the new car and everybody's learning. What are the things that I guess, maybe certain things can be changed now, but maybe some things can't be? What are the lessons or things that the sport, the teams, everybody needs to do in moving forward to try to limit it? Obviously, competitors are always going to push the limit, so even if things are dialed back, there's still going to be some sort of a limit. Is there anything that can be done moving forward, or is it this is racing and it's all about pushing the line, and this is what happens?
I don't really know all the details on this, to be honest with you, but I do feel like that Goodyear will be able to correct this. I just think, to a degree, potentially, as these cars have gotten faster and we're getting more speed out of them, maybe, hypothetically speaking, maybe we're putting the cars through more load and more putting more stress on the tire than they ever really thought we would be. I don't know, but I know Goodyear will fix it. I mean, that's what they do. It's going to be a process, but I know they're going to be on top of it. That hey, they don't want to see those failures. We don't want to see them either. They're going to be working on looking through and trying to figure out what exactly is going on, and we'll all learn from it. It's a brand new car. This is the first time in the history of our sport, we've gone to an 18-inch wheel and independent rear suspension. All these things are way different. Diffuser, all these things, way different. And so we're all learning together, and unfortunately, just the nature of it, we're having tire failures.
We're going to go right up there.
Matt Kreider, Denton Record Chronicle. Tyler, what is the feeling winning 1 week after elimination?
I mean, it's still nice. As much as it would be really easy to be thinking about, oh, God, man, 2 points, and we're out locked in round 8, but it's done. It's in the past. Nothing we can do to change it. So I'm just going to enjoy the win that we have tonight, and get ready for Talladega and try and go do the same thing there. I mean, I'd love to be racing for a championship. I really would, but we can't. We can do everything we can to go out and win these races, though, from here to Phoenix.
And what were you saying about the door foam in the steering wheel?
I don't know. It was a warm day, but yeah, for whatever reason, it kind of come unglued, and next thing I know, I'm driving in turn 1, and the door foam fell over, and I'm trying to turn my hands to turn the steering wheel, and the door foam was in my hands and in my wheel, so I couldn't really turn the steering wheel, and I went flying up the racetrack. I was kind of fighting a loose handling condition, so I mean, I could somewhat turn the wheel, but as soon as something had kind of fallen over into my hands, I couldn't be as smooth as I needed to be. I was worried I was going to spin out trying to still steer through it falling over, so it fell over. I grabbed it, and I tried to throw it over to the right side of the car. It got stuck right in front of my face, go down the front straightaway, which was not good. But I got it over to the right side eventually, and then under that lightning delay, we were able to get it back out from the right side of the car and fix it and really just tape everywhere, and got it really taped to the left side of the car, and it didn't come loose again.
Right back there.
Caleb Vissel, SpeedwayDigest.com. Tyler, congratulations. You mentioned earlier about Talladega. What is the mindset when you're out of the playoffs? You got Talladega next week. You got the Roval the week after. Obviously, there's going to be some guys looking for some points and whatnot. And as a Chevy driver, are you going to be, trying to help them out, especially at Talladega, trying to get some points? Or are you just going out there and focusing on yourself and trying to get a couple more wins?
Yeah, I'm going to be selfish, honestly. I mean, I want to win for this team. I mean, I would love to be up at the front and hang out all day up at the front of the field racing, but the trend, unfortunately, recently with these super speedways is just a lot of crashes, and whoever's left in the end can pick up the scraps and win. So it's something that's going to be on all of our minds this week as we prepare. What are we going to do? Are we going to be up front racing all day, maybe get crashed and be out? We're pretty much just focused on winning races. So I think we get a feel for what our car is going to do, and then make a decision. Do we run up front all day, or do we kind of hang out and wait for the big crashes at the end?
Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, kicking the tires.net. You look like the smartest guy in the garage right now. You've got it's a bug flying around the room. She's freaking out.
Sorry, Marissa's like,
it's a bug. It's flying around. They're scared. You look like the smartest guy in the garage right now. I mean, you've got you've got a contract already signed, and then your team is on, that you're with now is on fire. You're basically, padding your stats with wins. So you got to feel good about yourself. I mean, and the decisions that you made. What is left for this next year, for this year and then next year for Tyler Reddick before you move on, or how does that play into the fact? Have y'all decided what you're going to do?
I mean, I like winning, so I just plan on showing up to the track and try to win every race. I mean, nothing will really change. It's going to be same thing we thankfully did tonight. I'm going to try and do the same thing every week. It'll be a new challenge with different people, and that'll be fun. I'll look forward to it.
Do you think you can, with the changes that you know that are coming, how does that dynamic fit in?
It'll be a new challenge. Got to accept it and embrace it. It'll be fun.
All right, we're going to take one final question over there.
Congratulations, Raphael with Arconic. So on yesterday, the story was, what should happen to Texas Motor Speedway? So you've got a win here. What do you think should happen to Texas Motor Speedway? We heard everything from tear it down and start over, Atlanta 2.0. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I look at the mile-and-a-half tracks that we really have, and we got Charlotte, we got Kansas, we got Homestead, but Homestead's its own, animal. It's a different shape. Atlanta's a super speedway now. I mean, I think I've kind of hit them all. Vegas. We got Vegas. Yeah, so for me, I mean, we don't have – at one time we had Chicago, Kentucky, a lot of different mile-and-a-half tracks. So for me, I enjoy racing here now, but the Texas that I came into in the truck series, it was wore out. You could move all over it, had the tunnel bumps. The layout of that old track was really, really fun. I really enjoyed it, and some of the greatest drivers in our sport could just absolutely dominate here. So me, I would love to see it return to that. If we couldn't do that, maybe, turn it into a true oval, or, something like Homestead. Not like Homestead, but, make it like the old Atlanta, something like that. It just, for whatever reason, having tracks where 1 and 2 or one end of the track is really, really flat and the other end has a lot of banking, it kind of takes away variables. We have to lift a lot in 1 and 2, and it's very technical, but we get over to 3 and 4 and we're almost wide open. So I mean, we'll for the most part, we'd never ever be running up by the fence in 3 and 4. So I think just making the two corners very close together, I think would make that's what I'd want to see. It kind of return to its past, or be something a little bit more old school.
All right, thanks for joining us, Tyler. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And for those who would like to speak to Scott Miller, he is at the Cup Holler waiting for y'all.